So the iPhone 14 is going to be missing a really cool feature. And it got me thinking, why do iPhones always end up getting features much later than Android phones? Any guesses? Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Front Page Tech, FPT. Of course, show that gives you all this tech news from one geek that is me to another that is you, okay? Everyone, settle down, calm down, I'm back. Daddy's home. Now go to your room so I can show your mom my tech news. First up for the day, story numero uno, let's talk about a foldable iPhone, because that is the news. I guess that's back in the news. Well, not necessarily a foldable iPhone, but like a foldable something. I'll get to that, don't worry. Kuoming Chi, who went from tweeting nothing for like 11 years to all of a sudden coming out of the shadows tweeting every day. He's like herpes, but way cooler. Not that I have it, herpes, not that I have that. I don't have it. You have it. He says that Apple is actively testing a device with a 9-inch... Don't say it. Don't you say it. You know what else is 9 inches? You know. He says that they're testing an OLED display, a 9-inch OLED display, which is an important distinction because the word he used is display, not specifically foldable iPhone at this point. That's because he doesn't actually know if the foldable something is in fact a foldable iPhone, a foldable iPad, or something else. The real point of this tweet is to sort of revise his original timeline, because he previously said that a foldable iPhone would be coming in 2024. Now, he's saying that the earliest we should ever expect something like that is 2025. So now, in 2025, Kuoming Chi believes that we'll either get a hybrid device, something in between an iPhone and an iPad, which honestly just sounds like a foldable iPhone, just big, or just a straight-up foldable iPad. It doesn't do phone stuff, it does iPad stuff. Then I am interested in exactly none of this. I would rather shit myself in a bouncy castle than own a foldable iPhone. Well, that might be the weirdest thing I've ever said. Okay. I've said this before on the show, but I feel like by then, it's gonna be too late. Listen, Apple is late on a lot of stuff always, all the time, and they end up being completely fine. But as someone who feels that foldables are a fad anyway, this makes me feel like by then, Apple will just change their minds and cancel the project altogether. It's like, remember when we have Furbies?
And then we realized that, oh, this is actually the worst thing to sell to kids. This is terrifying.
Yeah, it'd be like Apple coming out with a Furby now. So yeah, I think there's a good chance, a pretty good chance, that you will never actually be able to buy a foldable iPhone, that it will never actually make it to market. But you know what you can buy right now? Today's sponsor. Is your company or business having a hard time hiring people right now? It's like, even if you somehow do find someone to hire, you find out soon after that they kind of suck. That's why this episode is sponsored by Workable. Workable helps you cast the widest net possible by posting your jobs to all of the top job boards, more than 200 total, with just one click. It helps you evaluate and hire quickly with modern tools like video interviews and e-signatures. And Workable will help you automate repetitive tasks like scheduling interviews so that you can spend your time on what's more important. So whether you're hiring for your small local coffee shop or your huge engineering team, Workable is exactly what you need to hire the right people fast. Go to workable.com/podcast to start hiring today with a risk-free 15-day trial. If you end up making a hire during that trial, which many do, it won't end up costing you a thing. And of course, huge thanks to Workable for sponsoring this episode. Hi, welcome back. All right, well, we're going to do the rest of the news now. Last up for the day, story numero lasto. Listen, you know I like you, right? Like, I think we're family. I would consider us family, and I wouldn't want to hurt you. And I don't want to do this to you, really. But I gotta. We're about to talk about the iPhone 16. Yes, you heard that right. The one that is 2 years away. So we hate this, right? Like, we can all agree this is bad. I keep saying that this looks like an accident. It looks like you asked someone to use a hole punch, but then they tripped, and then this happened. Well, the reason we has this is because we, and by we, I mean Apple, and not me at all, the Apple hasn't quite figured out how to put Face ID, the Face ID array, under the display panel. Wait, I'm gonna take that back. They probably have figured out how to do it. It just doesn't make sense for them to do it yet, because that's usually how new features work. You always see Android people touting how Apple is so slow to make new features and the Android phones have cool stuff first. But this is how it goes. This is how it works. It's not at all that Apple can't do it or that they can't figure it out. It's that they don't know how to do it yet at scale. You see, the difference between Android manufacturers and Apple is just that: scale. Apple has to ship 100 million iPhones a year of a single lineup, and that's not like, oh, Apple sheet bad. This is real okay? These the facts. Look it up. Google it. I don't care what you gotta do. No one, and I mean not a single Android manufacturer has to ship out that many units of a single lineup. They don't even come close. And that is the real reason you don't get the features you want fast enough on your iPhone. They have to be able to introduce that feature at a crazy scale and manufacture that at a price that makes sense. A price that makes sense for them, and a price that makes sense for you. Like, I'm sure they could put Face ID under the display right now. I'm sure they know exactly how they're going to do it in the near future, but if they did that right now, this year, it might mean that the iPhone this year that you want to buy will end up costing you $1,500 for the base model. And obviously, they can't do that to you. I mean, they could, but then you would probably be like, no. Not doing that. They wait until they have the proper tooling at the proper cost to produce at the proper scale. There. Don't ever say you didn't learn anything from this show. Anyway, the whole point of that was to get to this here tweet from Kuoming Chi. He says that while Face ID is not coming this year for iPhone 14, you can expect it in the iPhone 16 in the year 2024. And then that is when I guess we can expect to see something like this, where you just have the camera exposed and the Face ID module itself is under the display panel, because I feel like they have to do that. If they put the camera under there, then you know how under display cameras go. It doesn't go very well. And then in that case, we would end up with something with a little hole in it like that, instead of something like this. And I would be pretty okay with that. I mean, at this point, I would rather just go back to the notch. I've changed my mind. I'm sorry I ever said anything. Let's just go back to the notch. It's not that I like the notch. I hate the notch too. I never liked the way the notch looks, but man, what I would do to get it back. Because the ass is definitely not greener over here. Or whatever the saying is.